Hello everyone! Today I am going to be showing you all how to use OBS, Open Broadcaster Software, to record or live stream any media that you may choose. So, how do you start? Well, as you can see here on my screen, I have my working area. Now this is currently under my display, and this is basically what's going to be showing on screen. So, the thing that you have to do whenever you want to start on OBS is make a new scene. Now, I already have various scenes as I use the software, so today I'm going to be starting with a fresh and new one. So you're going to hit this plus on the right, or on the left bottom, sorry, corner, and you're going to add a new scene. So you can name it whatever you may like, and you hit OK. So now you're going to notice, oh, my screen's black. It's not showing anything. This is how yours is going to be when you start. So at the bottom, you're going to see sources. Now sources are where you display, let's say, your movie files, your images, your websites, camera software, etc. You can have your webcam, you can have your desktop, anything that you may choose to show on a stream. So the way that this is going to go is we're going to hit the plus again, and we're going to go ahead and start showing what we want to display. So personally, let's go ahead and start by putting something on screen. Most of you are going to be using the display capture, so we're going to go ahead and click on that. Now we're going to go ahead and create our display capture, make it visible, and you can name it whatever you want to stay organized, but for the purpose of this video, I will leave it as display capture 2. You can press OK. And oh, you're going to see this big mess. So to avoid confusion, I'm just going to switch my display to the one that I was using previously, which is display 2. I'm running multiple displays. So if you're running multiple displays, you just click this down arrow and you can pick which one you want to use. So I have selected my display, and I'm going to press OK. So you're going to notice this whole display doesn't reach the whole stream. You're going to see this big black space. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to click and drag this right corner until it snaps into place. Then we have our desktop set up. So now you can see my mouse on the desktop moving around. There you go, it's working fine. Finally, we're going to go ahead and add our audio input so you can actually hear my voice in this video. So we're going to create our audio input, and of course you can name it whatever you may like. You're going to press OK, and you may choose what device you want. So I'm going to use my headset for this. And now you're going to notice that you have an audio input capture. You're going to see this bar moving. That means it's picking up your voice. It's working good. And you're also going to have one for desktop audio. Now desktop audio isn't making any noise currently because Windows isn't doing anything that makes noise. So if I can do the simple Windows volume meter that makes this noise, that will show the desktop audio rising, so we know our audio is working fine. So if you want to add a face cam, anything like that, you would do it here under your sources, and you would select your video capture device. Again, you can do this with text, media sources, so you can show videos on screen. You could even directly have a browser onto this. I personally just like showing the desktop. It depends on what you are doing exactly. So now that we have this showing, we're going to go ahead and go into the settings, which is on the right bottom. So you're going to notice you have buttons here on screen for streaming, recording, studio mode, and these are the ones that we're going to be using for recording and streaming. So we're going to go ahead and skip this for now and go into our settings. So upon reaching our settings, let's say you want to stream, you want to get ready to stream your service, Twitch, whatever platform you may use, Facebook Live, all of it is going to be here, and OBS will specifically give you instructions for each one. So this is where you would link your account. Fairly easy with Facebook. I believe you just log in and it works just as good as that. It may be different for each one, so I won't go over this part, but do keep in mind many of these are similar and just require you to log in to that specific account. So we're going to go ahead and go into the video section. Now the video section, this is where you adjust the quality that your viewers are going to see. So you're going to notice there's going to be a base resolution. That's going to be what your monitor is outputting. And your output scaled resolution, that's going to be what your stream is going to see. Now, why is this one lower than the top one? Your scaled resolution, you may want to have it lower if you don't want to put too much strain on your system and you know that your viewers aren't going to have the internet capability to even stream such a high resolution. So I would recommend generally having a lower one, especially because some streaming services don't allow the viewer to actually join the stream until their internet catches up enough to actually output this resolution on their end. So that would be beneficial to just leave it at 1080p or even 720p. It depends on your internet speed, which I will come back to in a bit. So you're going to also see your FPS value. Now, why would you want to change this? Well, let's say you're just doing simple things like showing a website or showing something on your desktop, simple tutorial like this one. Under 60 would be fine, 30 would be fine. If you're doing something that's showing fast-moving frames, such as maybe playing a game or doing something that involves fast frames, fast motion, I would recommend having it at 60. Higher is smoother, but also more of a strain on your system. So do keep that in mind. And next, we're going to be going into the output. Now, the output, this is how we're going to tell OBS the bit rate and sort of the type of recording format or streaming format that we're going to use for our stream or recording. So we're going to adjust our encoder first. Now you're going to see I have NVIDIA NVENC. This is only apparent when you have hardware from NVIDIA. Now if you don't have hardware from NVIDIA, you're just going to see X264, which is perfectly fine. The NVIDIA one's just more optimized and can handle more. So next we're going to go into bitrate. Now bitrate completely depends on your upload speed. So if you want to adjust that, you're going to have to check your upload speed. There's various websites for that, speedtest.net. I will be putting links to these down in the description, but speedtest.net works perfectly fine. So how do you know what value to put in? Well, I made this document beforehand that I will be showing. So this, if I can move this window, this is what you should put depending on your internet speed. Now, if it's under 3 megabytes per second, you're generally going to want your bit rate lower than this because then it might not be a stable stream. It might be taking too much of your upload speed, too much of your bandwidth. So this is the recommended resolution for this type of internet speed and your frame rate. Now, if you do have an excellent internet speed, feel free to go with a higher bit rate. I generally don't recommend going with a bit rate this high. I would generally leave it at about 3,500 and up the resolution if you do have faster internet speed, because at that point anything above 3,500 isn't as noticeable. But do tweak this and test it out. You're going to have to do some back and forward testing so you can adjust a smooth stream and a balance between resolution and frame rate if you do have your upload speed within these values of 8 through 15. So that will require a couple of testing. I would not put the frame rate higher. If it lets you, don't put the frame rate higher. And generally 720p is fine for streams and recordings. If you're doing recordings, I would recommend 1080p. So there's that. So now we're gonna go ahead and go over the presets. So you're generally gonna want to tweak this depending on your system, as I mentioned before. There is different presets that you can pick. I am picking max quality because of the internet speed that I have and the hardware that I have. You do have to test this out if you're running low internet speed, and just kind of tweak it, you know. So next we're going to be going into GPU. Do leave this at 0 if it is not at 0, unless you have more than one graphics card in your system to do this. Now I do believe that the output mode will be under simple when you first start it, so I do want to mention change it to advanced to take advantage of this. So next we're going to want to go over recording. So we're going to want to tell OBS, where do you want to save this? So the recording path, that's where you're going to have your videos go into. And recording format, generally MP4 is recommended, as it'll generally be more stable, but if you do have a specific one that you prefer, go ahead and go with that one. But for the sake of this video, I'm gonna go with MP4. And if you already tweaked the stream encoder before, which I chose NVENC, it'll have it to use the same one, or you can change it for the recording, or if you didn't change it, you can change it here. So next we're gonna go over your hotkeys. So nobody wants to be clicking start stream, start recording when you're already in the middle of something. So as long as you have the software open, you can set keys to start your recording, to stop recording, or to even switch your scene, which I will go over in a bit. So here are the places where you can pick your key on the keyboard. You just click once and you put the key. So I'm switching here using F1, F2 to stop, F3 to start, F3 to stop. So it depends on what you're doing, streaming or recording. You can pick here, as well as scenes, which I will cover in a bit. Do come back to this hotkey section since we're going to be using scenes. So after all of this, you can hit apply, hit OK. Now I mentioned scenes. Why do you want multiple scenes? Well, scenes are helpful for transitions. So if you're showing a project and then you want to switch to like a full webcam view of something, hands-on view or something, you can do that with that. So I have different scenes here for different things. So there's this one for my sort of streams, and I can just press one of my hotkeys to switch between them. I don't have a hotkey set for scene 3 yet, but generally you would use your hotkeys to switch between each one. F5, F6 is what I have for these scene and scene 2. And yeah, that is how you start streaming, start recording. Very simple. You want to make it even simpler, you set keybinds for these, or if you want to go basic and just start using OBS, you can just hit these on the right bottom to start streaming, start recording. So yeah, that is everything that you need to know about OBS. Thank you for watching.